Welcome back from what was a very unusual spring break, I'm sure. First, before we get started, I just want to say I hope everything's going really well with you all at home, and we all look forward to getting back to normal. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over briefly our week at a glance, kind of what we're going to be doing this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of today's lesson. So for today, the agenda is I'm going to give you an exam update. There's going to be another update coming this Friday with some more vital information, but on March 30th, I did get an update and I want to go over it with you. If you got the update yourself in your email, which I'm sure you did, and if you read the email and this is redundant, I apologize. The other thing, kind of the assignment for today, is you guys are going to score some student samples from the overrated time rate we did right before school got canceled, and you'll be getting your scores back Wednesday this week. So here's what you have to do. You got to watch this video. Hopefully, it'll be relatively short. You're going to read 3 student samples on Canvas from the overrated essay. They're not student samples from our class, they're just the ones we always read. And then you're going to complete a Google form. And the Google form is going to be how you score those essays. That's how we'll kind of get practice with the rubric and get you to think about what the writers wrote. Here's the plan for the entire week. All this will be posted on Canvas. So when you watch this, Monday will be posted, Tuesday and Wednesday might be posted. Friday probably won't get posted until later in the week. I'm always going to try to post things a little ahead of time just so you guys can work ahead if you want. Sometimes I'll be able to, sometimes I won't. So for today, Monday the 30th, we have our AP test overview. And the other part of the lesson is going to be reviewing that argument rubric. And getting ready to apply it to 3 student samples for the overrated essay, last year's argument prompt. On Wednesday, we're going to do a rhetorical analysis review. And you're going to be starting to think about, you're going to answer some questions. You're not going to do the time break until next week. You're going to answer some questions about this 2009 rhetorical analysis prompt, this guy Walter Lippmann. Then on Friday, you guys are going to do an analysis of Lippmann, and we're going to use Canvas discussion, which I've never used before, but I want to get us kind of talking back and forth with each other. And we'll just use the Lippmann prompt that we started on Wednesday. And then your homework for the weekend is going to be outline the Lippmann time right and get ready to write. And then on Tuesday next week, you guys are actually going to write to the Lippmann prompt. So that's the week at a glance. Here's the update from the AP. So once again, if you read this in an email, I apologize. Here's the update. So they say for this year only, students are going to take a 45-minute online exam. This is very different than the experience you would have if you tested May 13th as planned. That test would have been 3 hours and 15 minutes long. So this is a much, much shorter exam. Here's another little wrinkle that we're going to get more information about later. Some students may want to take the exam sooner rather than later while the content is still fresh. Other students might want more practice. So for every AP test, there's going to be 2 different testing dates. One of the dates, if I'm understanding them correctly, is going to be May 13th. And because we'll still be in contact with each other, that's the date I would recommend. But I think they're going to have a sooner date for people to test. Some more updates. The exams will only include topics and skills most AP teachers and students have already covered by early March. So there's these units that I use to plan in my lessons, and they go up to 9, I believe. They're only testing the first 7 units. As I look through them, we're pretty well covered on most of the things. The only type of essay we haven't done is synthesis, and a lot of the skills for synthesis, constructing a claim, using evidence, we've already practiced with other essays. They also want to mention that colleges are supportive of this solution, and they're committed to ensuring AP students receive the credit they worked this year to earn. All that means is that if you guys pass the AP test in the 45-minute version, you'll still get credit if they would have given you credit for that score for the full test the way it was normally supposed to be. So how are you going to take these tests? So far, this is what they've released. You'll be able to take these exams on any device that you have access to and has access to the internet, computer, tablet, or smartphone. Taking a photo of handwritten work is also going to be an option. The AP also made a big deal. I had this isn't a new situation for them. In extenuating circumstances for certain students in certain countries, they've had to do this kind of thing before. Of course, never on this scale, but they say that they have experience doing this. The other thing that they mentioned was that they recognize that there's going to be a divide that might prevent some people from having internet access. Rural students might have difficulty participating. So, what the AP said is that if students need mobile tools, and by that I think they mean some kind of device or any kind of connectivity, we can reach out to AP directly and talk to them about supporting us. So, as we kind of know more this Friday and next week, we'll start figuring out what that looks like for all of you guys. I think um, we just want to absolutely make sure everyone gets the same chance to take the test. Um, Finally, this is kind of the little curveball I keep alluding to April 3rd. So we know that they're not going to give us the full test. We know that it's going to be cut down quite a bit. We don't know exactly the type of free response questions that are going to be on the test. And so if you go to the link, and I posted the link in Canvas if you want to look at it, right now it's pretty blank. So this Friday, they'll tell us what type of free response questions will be on the test, what type of free response question, I believe. And then they'll have prep materials for that. So, like I said, if you go to the website, this is just a screenshot, but they have like English language compositions, units 1 through 7, like I said. Units 8 and 9 will be excluded. And then this is a huge blank, like what's actually going to be on there. They haven't really announced for most of them what's going to be on there. Here's my best guess, and this is pure speculation. I've actually got some colleagues who disagree with me, but I think it's going to be one rhetorical analysis timed right. In 45 minutes, I don't think they're going to have, a really short multiple choice section and then a really short writing section. I think if they have to choose between multiple choice and writing, I think they're going to choose writing based on their, them alluding to like accepting handwritten samples. And I think that if they want to assess how good a reader you are and a good writer, I think that rhetorical analysis is the obvious choice. So, which is also why we're going to go back into reviewing rhetorical analysis this week. I don't think it's bad practice anyway, and my suspicion is that the test is going to come down to a short reading and then rhetorically analyzing it in an essay. That's what I think it's going to be. So that's the update. More to come on April 3rd. But the big takeaway for you guys is yes, you can still take the test. Yes, it will be way shorter. It contain less material. And beyond that, I think the real kind of question mark for me is going to be answered on this Friday on April 3rd. So let me get into Canvas right now and show you what you need to get done for today. That was our first little bit. If you go into the Canvas course, Monday, March 3rd, and I'll just point out really quickly, here's a link to all the information. If you click on it, it'll show you all the information that I condensed down. I guess we have to sign in. But all the information, I think you might have to sign in to get this. I apologize. I tried to find it so that you wouldn't have to. But here's all the information about the 45-minute free response, and then here's those big blank spaces that I showed you guys earlier too. So going back to modules, your actual homework for today or your assignment for today, it all lives right here, storing student samples. So what you're going to do is we're working with student samples, which are right here. There's 3 student samples, and they're for the overrated prompt. I put the overrated prompt right here. That way you could remind yourself, it's question 3, the term overrated has often been used to diminish concepts, place, roles that the speaker does not believe deserves the prestige. So there's the prompt if you want to look back at it. The next thing that you're going to need is the rubric. So here's the rubric. We've used it before, but just to review, there's the thesis. You can get 0 points. Here's the description. 1 point. Here's the description. Evidence commentary, 0 to 4, with the descriptions below. And sophistications, 0 or 1. Okay? So for each of the 3 samples, you're going to give it a score for each one of those sections. And here are the 3 samples. You'll have to skip down a little bit in the PDF. This is the old rubric, the 0 through 9 rubric that we don't use anymore. It was still in use last year, so it's still part of it. So we've seen these student samples before a lot. Here's the number of the student sample. So in the Google form, it'll refer to them as 3A. There's 3A. Scooting down, handwriting changes. Here's 3B. And then 3C is the third sample. Okay? So your job is to read the 3 samples and look at the rubric, and you have to decide what score they get. And then for something to turn in, there's a Google form. So here's the directions right up here. There's 3 student samples posted on Canvas. For each of the samples, which are numbered in the top right, I showed you that, you will assign a score for thesis, evidence, and commentary, and sophistication. So I didn't want you to give an explanation for every single score you gave for all 9 scores. So for one category of each of the essay, you'll be prompted to explain your score. So you put your name up here, the first sample, 3A, give it a thesis score, give it an evidence and commentary score, and then here it asks you to explain just why you gave it the score for evidence and commentary. Then you give it a score for sophistication. For sample 3B, give it a score for thesis, evidence and commentary, sophistication, and just for sophistication for 3B, you got to explain the score. And 3C, thesis, explain why you gave it the score you gave for thesis, and just score it for evidence, commentary, and sophistication, and then submit it. So this is what you're going to get a grade for today, the Google form. You're going to need to look at the student samples and the rubric to do that, but this is everything for today. And then on Wednesday, when you get another one of these videos for me, we will we'll work on referring back to rhetorical analysis. The other thing I want to mention is everyone did a really good job on the assignment for Thursday before break. Everyone had trouble with the GChat thing. I don't know why it looks different on my end, and I actually practiced it in class with a student, and it seemed easy enough, but plenty of people said it just didn't pop up for them. So I don't know what the deal with that, but it looks like people have been doing a good job being in touch with me through emails. So if you have any questions, hit me up, and I hope everything is going really, really well. And I hope you guys are all hanging in there. That's it. Go ahead and access the student samples in the Google form.